We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Road Magic Music Podcast. My name is Adam Zonnis. I'm your host. And tonight we've got a very special guest. We've got Mike Sixonate all the way from Twillingate, Newfoundland,
Yes,
middle of the
sir.
night. Hello, Mike.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing super great. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's good to catch up. We met a long time ago, probably, 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why don't we get started here, and you can tell everybody here a little bit about what it is that you do, what kind of music you play, and how you came to be a musician, the musician you are today.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me see. Well, Mike 6 and 8 obviously is not my real name. I made that one up quite a few years ago, trying to battle the old algorithm, and Google. So Mike McDonald, my real name, very common name. Lots of talented people, you know. So I decided I needed a name change, and 6 and 8 is a bit dorky. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a bit of a math nerd thing. It's 618, the first three digits of phi of the golden ratio. So like the spiral, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to get real cheesy about it, it's the square root of 5 divided by 2. So, yeah, so 6 and 8 is a play on that. And basically, I was at a stage where I needed to make a change, and music is something I've always wanted to pursue since I could play, which was a very long time ago. And I picked a spot, and I'm kind of spiraling out and hoping to continue to grow and expand. But, I always want to trace it back to that decision to do this. And that's why I kind of drive so hard and do what I do. And I'm fortunate that this is what I do for a full time living.
Well, that's really great. So you live in Twillingate. Can you tell us a little bit about that town and your residency and how you play music there?
Yeah, sure. So Twillingate is a beautiful place in Newfoundland. It really is a beautiful place. I'm actually in a little town on Twillingate Island called Durrell. Very quiet road. It's a beautiful place, mainly a tourist town. So there's a lot of beautiful B&Bs and art galleries and stuff like that. I guess for BC listeners, it'd be comparable to like Tofino, how Tofino's kind of a bit of a touristy trap. Twillingate's very similar. It's the iceberg capital of the world. So we're getting ready to get into iceberg season here, and a lot of people come from all over the world to check out the icebergs and seabirds. Whale watching is big here, and all kinds of things like that. So Twillingate, yeah, it's a beautiful town from May to October, and then it's extremely quiet. So
Ooh.
that's usually my touring time. My residency ends Thanksgiving. I'm on the road. Directly after that, I give myself a week off, and then I'll tour again in November. I'll take December off, and January, February is kind of getting ready to go on the road for March, which is always a big one. I just got back from a tour actually last night, so it's busy. I try to keep myself busy with it. But if anybody's never been to Twillingate, look it up. It's wicked. Twillingate.
Ooh.
Beautiful little town. Yeah.
And you were telling me here you have a residency there at a local pub. You play 6 nights a week. And tell me about your fingers and what happens to your fingers, and just
Oh
about
yeah.
the show in general.
Yeah, so it's 6 nights a week. It's a grind. For anybody that plays music for a living, you kind of hit a wall. Your body hits a wall. Your chest hits a wall. In my case, it's my fingers. I don't play with a pick, and so I super glue my fingers. I have to super glue my fingers every night before the show, and if I don't, they just kind of pop open, and it's not good for anybody involved.
Right? We got a couple. I got a message here in the chat. We got Lori from Hazelton.
Okay.
Says Twillingate sounds beautiful. Her aunt is from Newfoundland. She has a special yearning, and this is her and Bill tuning in. I don't know if they saw you during one of your tours up in northern BC, but they're very. Lori and Bill's a musician, and Lori they run a farm together, and they're big
Cool.
supporters and partakers of music up there in northwestern BC. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
and
Wicked.
just
Well,
like
I'm
Bill,
coming up again. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you're
Bill
coming.
uses fake nails.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do too, but it gets so expensive, man. I break them off, and it's like, I just started using super glue. It's like I get a 20 pack from Amazon for like $3. It's like a
Yeah.
month supply.
So you said you have another tour up in northern BC.
Yeah, I'm going to be coming up every year now. I actually landed a really good circuit. It started out with Home Roots. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Home Roots. Um, uh, it's a great organization that puts musicians in established house concerts. So it's really good. It's affordable for a musician to go on this tour because you come out in the black. You don't get rich off of it, but you don't come back any worse off than you left, which is what we're all after. So yeah, northern BC, from Prince George to Prince Rupert, man. And I found a really nice home actually now in Terrace. I've got a great friend there, musician friend named Devin Pollitt, and he hooked me up with Sherwood Mountain Brewing, who have a wicked stage, and great sound guy, great staff, great beer, and that is my anchor date now. So when I go up this fall, I know that I have an anchor date that'll at least, cover off the majority of my expenses, and I'll just span out from there. Kitimat, Prince George, Smithers at Bulkley Valley. I've played in Burns Lake before.
He's a little south of Burns Lake. He's in Francois Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I did
so I
play
can
in
put you
Burns
guys
Lake.
in touch after the show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fraser Lake was another place I played. Mackenzie, a whole bunch of places. So I played a bunch of places up there, and I love that part of the country. I lived in the mountains, as you know, for many years, except southern Alberta. So for your BC friends, pretty much the Crow's Nest Pass was my backyard.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I loved it. I lived there for almost 10 years. If I didn't have a daughter, I would probably still live in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. So you made your career, I guess mostly you were doing a lot of Newfoundland inspired music or maritime music, and you said you've branched out more, kind of just singing more diverse, I guess, topics and stuff like that.
A little
You
more
want to talk a
mature,
little
I
bit
think.
about your maturing as a musician?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you get a taste of success, and it's not like that's why I use quotation marks. I'm not a millionaire from this. I'm grinding like the rest of my colleagues. But when you first start to get a little bit of recognition, I think as a songwriter, you don't care about that at first, and then when you get that, in the back of your mind, you're catering to your audience. And I think my last album that I put out, Rant and Rave, it's a great album and it's done really well. But when I wrote those songs, I had my residency in mind. So I was writing for the people that were visiting Newfoundland. I was choosing my stories about, I won't say stereotypical, but definitely Newfoundland themed songs, And now, not that they're not Newfoundland themed. I pretty much talk about Newfoundland in all my music, but not in the same sense. Some of the stuff maybe sounds a little more outlaw country now because
Okay.
maybe I'm a little more jaded. I don't know. But I have a daughter now, so that changed things. I had a great business, a production business. I was doing some great things. That burnt down.
We'll talk about that in a minute here for sure.
Yeah, sure. Of course. Then I was with my baby's mom, and we split up, and COVID happened, and it's like, so of course, as a songwriter, things have kind of matured a little bit, because I guess I've had a few more experiences.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's what we have to draw on to write our songs is experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of songs, how about a song?
Sure. I think what'll be cool to do is, I wasn't planning on doing this one. I sound checked with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is super new.
That's what we like.
Bear with the click. Okay, sorry. Hope that wasn't too bad.
Oh, my ears! No, it's fine.
All right, so I'm going to try this, but my daughter is sleeping in the room next door, so I'm not going to be like, rah.
Yeah.
Be like the toned down version.
Sure.
So anyways, I talked about all of that stuff just now about maturing and all the things that have happened. And one thing I don't like to do when I write my music is like put negativity towards somebody in it. So I try to like wrap those negative emotions in a different way. Like I don't want to point fingers at anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'd hate for someone to listen to my music and say that's about me, because you've no idea what it's about. It's about whatever you choose for it to be about.
Ooh.
What I write it about and what you interpret it as are two different things, and they're two beautiful things and correct things. So This one's called Blue Skies, and it's about coming out of a pit of depression. It's not money, now it's clear. I flush it all away. And the night turns into something that would make the pious pray. And the children take their stance, and the question begs me how. His little swinging arms say everything I wanna drink away, 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 way above the stormy clouds where the skies remaining blue. It's the little thoughts of what's to come that helps me push on through this day, this day, this day, this day, and this day will soon be left behind, and these blurry eyes will finally hide away while the blood's been standing by, watching tears fall down like rain. Still I sit and watch my heart and soul witness a grown man's pain. And them clouds won't start to break till the rain's done falling down. There's a sorrow and a missing link within this tiny town. This town, this town, this town, this town's been good but bittersweet. It's a little far away. There's a tether here, it's pulling me and makes me wanna stay, to stay, to stay, stay, to stay. I stay inside this hamster wheel when my legs are getting tired. I've been beaten down, left behind, but I'm inspired. Night turns into day. Them clouds way up there in the sky, they finally gone away. Them clouds way up there in the sky have finally gone away, 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 away. Away, 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 away above the stormy clouds and the skies remaining blue. It's a little thoughts of what's to come that helps me push on through this day. This day, this day, this day, this day will soon be left behind, and these blurry eyes will finally hide away while the blood's been standing by. And I'll sit and watch my heart and soul witness a grown man's pain. There you go.
Woo! Oh, thanks, man, buddy. That was so good.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man, that was like sent shivers down my spine when I was listening to that.
Thanks, man. That one's tough to sing. You know, that's got many years of shit I've wanted to talk about, all deeply wrapped in metaphor. You know,
for myself, like for a long time, I wrote a lot of music that was fun or party or was dark and had kind of like this kind of abstract imagery. But lately I've been really focusing on just writing. Not every song, but like writing songs that are just from my heart and about what I really feel, and really like allowing myself to be vulnerable. And it's really scary to sing those songs. You're putting your heart on a platter, but I found that actually those are the songs that people shed a tear to.
Yeah, right? And you know what I find, man? This might sound corny and cheesy, but like I find a song is not ready for me to play live. Like that one, I haven't played live. I've had it written for a while now, but it stirs up so many emotions in me that like the last thing I want to do is like lose my composure on stage, getting tied up, because I think any musicians watching, or any artists for that matter, in any discipline, you put that into your work, and it's like recording a memory, and there's certain songs that I wrote in my early career that I might play at home when I'm rehearsing, but I wouldn't dare play them live because they just stir up something in me, and they have served their purpose.
Trevor says, "What a great tune! Thanks,
Trevor."
Yeah,
it's a little different. I mean, if you search my name and listen to the album that's up streaming now, Rant and Rave, you're not going to hear any of that kind of tunes. You'll hear some more kind of Irish inspired stuff there. Wow. But
that's great
music
too.
Country, man, has always been there for me.
Yeah, well, that's where we met, right?
Yeah,
we met when you were working down in southern Alberta doing sound for us.
Yeah,
at the old Twin Butte General Store.
Yeah,
those were some
spot.
Legendary spot. Had some good
Legendary
times
spot.
back there. Let's talk a little bit about what you were doing before with your production and the awards you won and your studio that you mentioned unfortunately burnt to the ground. Let's maybe we can talk a little bit about that whole
Sure.
experience and how it helped develop your career and the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I've never really gone on the record to talk about it. Right after it happened, all the media frenzy, I did a whack of interviews and then it kind of fizzled off, because there was another headline, the way the news works. But it was strange, man. So I have been playing music. Oh man, I've been playing music for just shy of 2 decades now and trying to make a go at it. And I always, I get to a point gigging and touring where it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And so I thought to myself, I've been on the road. I've dealt with grant writing. I've done my own sound and lights. And I've done sound and lights professionally for other people as well. And I had all of this industry experience, and I wanted to start a family, of course. So that's where I was at in my life, and I decided to start up a production company, 618 Entertainment. And pretty much directly after I started the company, COVID happened. And I'm like, okay, well, I just, sunk everything I own into a company that I can't use any of the equipment. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. So I was in that predicament, much like a lot of people in many industries found themselves in the same way. What was the word? Pivot. We all have
Yeah.
to pivot, right? Yeah, pivot. So, anyways, I decided to take I wrote a grant with Tech NL, a great organization. And they gave me funding enough to buy two 6K cameras and some tripods. And I rented an old church here in Twillingate. And while social distancing was happening, we were not flying in, but traveling in, some of the best musicians in Newfoundland to come. And they had their own place to stay away from us. They had their own entrances. They went up and set up, and we sound checked them, and then we gave them all like really high end live streams. And what was really cool about that is that the industry kind of gave me a pat on the back, and I won that year. I won the Music Industry Professional of the Year through Music NL. So that was a huge win, and just like I was like, yeah, wicked, these guys got my back. And then shortly after, my studio location, not the church, was unfortunately in a giant fire. I made a rookie move in my insurance. I thought I was insured to the hills, and I ended up losing $250,000. And it was just a kick in the guts, and it was, a depressing time. COVID was happening, studio just burnt, relationship on the rocks, like all of that crap at the one time. And of course, I found myself with a guitar in my hands. My one best buddy that's always been there. Doesn't matter how many tears roll down the front of your guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It's always still there. So yeah, again, music kind of picked me up, and now I'm having my second wind. I just signed a record deal, and a
Awesome.
publishing deal. Yeah, so Citadel House Records just picked me up for 20 masters. So I'm going to divvy that up, in a few different projects.
And
And
you have some killer guests, I hear.
oh man, I'm so spoiled with the people that I have on this record. I can thank my friend Melissa. Melissa Sexton in Ontario, in Toronto. She introduced me into a circle of friends, and that I'm eternally grateful for. So I just came back off of tour. I played with Mike O'Grady and Clayton Yates of the Mahones. So two of those guys are going to be on the album, and then a legend, an absolute legend, asked me if he could join me on stage. A guy by the name of Alec Fraser Jr. So you should really look that guy up if you're listening, if you're tuning in. Check him out. He's played with Jeff Healey, David Wilcox, Morgan Davis, Randy Bachman. The list goes on and on and on and on. He's an absolute legend, and he kindly said that he'd play bass on the record. A guy named Evan Grace, who's one of the best tenor banjo players I think on the face of the planet. He's out of, I believe, Kilkenny, Ireland. He's going to be on the album, so it's going to be a good one. This is a passion one. This is one that I'm like, I can't wait to get this record out.
I'm stoked to hear it. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I will totally listen to it. Just do a little plug here. I'm sure you must have some merch or somewhere if people want to buy something off of you, they can
Uh,
go.
If you want to
That's
buy something off me at this stage of the game, it's whatever I've got left at the live shows.
okay.
I've never been big on the crazy merch stores and all of that. I'm sure now that I'm starting to build a team, they're going to feel very differently about that.
Hmm.
But if there's somebody else that's wants to take on the merchandise side of things,
But if somebody who's watching this podcast now wants a CD or a shirt, they can maybe send you an email or something.
oh, absolutely, yeah,
Okay, sure,
yeah, for
sure,
sure. But
yeah.
as far as like an online store now, it's like not overly. Um, After when I signed this deal, I'm kind of thinking I'm rebranding a little bit, so I'm
Hmm.
letting my stock run low of the old stuff, and really when the new stuff comes out, that'll be limited edition. So if anybody has their hands on the old Rant and Rave album, hang on to it because it'll be worth at least $3 in 10 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Um, Maybe you can talk a little bit about some of your past musical experiences. Maybe some epic shows or some a wild touring story, something like that. Is there something you can share in that regards?
Yeah, maybe I could share one about BC
Sure.
on a home roots tour.
That sounds
Oh
good.
man, I'm not gonna name the place. But basically, the name of the hotel is like a famous song. I'll sing you the first line. Motorin. You know. Anyways, at a hotel or a motel, uh,
Yeah.
we were playing a show. I was on tour with Mike Jenkins, and we were on tour and we were doing 12 shows in 14 days, super busy. And one of the things in the rider was that the venues were going to put us up. So in this unnamed town in northern BC, um, we go in and we're exhausted from the road. I think we came from Chetwynd and it was a long drive, and it was snowy. It was just snowing and it was an exhausting drive. And so we get to this place and check into the motel, and we go in and there's a hole cut through the wall with a tarp over it that went into the room next door. Right? I was like, what the and the doorknob like had been hit with a hammer, so it was like hanging off. And so Jenkins, completely like unaware to the situation, exhausted, he lies down on the bed, and I'm like, I like catch this like dirty stain on the bottom, and I'm like, Jenkins, I don't want to alarm you, right? But you need to get off the bed, right? And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, just trust me, man. Just get up off the bed. So he gets up, and I pull the sheets back, and I pull the sheet off of the mattress, and the mattress has this big, like, it almost looked like blood. Maybe it was chocolate milk. I don't know, but like it was this just gruesome stain, right?
Oh,
I was like, pack your shit. If anyone knows where the Keo Inn is, you know what I'm talking about. So that's where we booked. Beautiful place, wicked, amazing. That was an amazing spot that we booked into, but it was out of our own pocket. But man, you know. Sometimes you can't avoid that crap, but man, that was probably the wildest thing. Like there was a hole cut in the wall covered with a tarp and blood stains on. Yeah, madness.
yeah, for sure.
Madness. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember some of my touring band days too. You'd have like the venue, they have a band room that the band can stay in, like upstairs from the venue, and you go in there and it's like nobody's cleaned it in like 6 years. He's like, unspeakable stains on the
Oh
wall.
yeah.
God knows what. Yeah, for
I
sure.
will say, anyone who's familiar with Smithers,
Yeah,
BC, there's a brewery down there, Bulkley Valley. A guy named
yeah.
Dave runs it.
I've played there.
Beautiful cat, love him to death, and he has a 2-bedroom apartment over the venue. And he's like, if you want to stay for an extra night before or after, and he's just a wicked cool dude. So there's really good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. It's
Absolutely.
not always like that, but
No, we'll be playing there this summer, actually.
oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure. We played there last summer, maybe the summer before at the brewery. It went really well, super great, and we'll be back there again this summer for sure.
Oh, wicked. Well,
Yeah.
give everyone a big squeeze for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And what is
Um,
the Oulars? Have a big pint of Oulars for me, the stout.
I'll do that.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, do you have any? We'll get you to play another song here in a minute, but I was wondering if you
Yeah.
had any final notes or anything else you wanted people to know about you before we check out.
No, I think if you want to gamble on a show, send me an email, Mike6and8, my name that you're seeing on the screen there, Mike6and8 at gmail.com. Send me a line. I tour a lot, and I'm always looking to fill the weekdays. The weekdays are the biggest challenge. I'd much rather be, playing a intimate house show or a cafe for a few people who are interested than sitting home in a motel, So,
I totally understand that.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty open book, and you can give me a follow. Everything that I have is at Mike6and8. So I'm pretty easy to find and pretty easy going.
Great. Yeah. Well, I'll just do a little self-promotion here myself. My name is Adam Zonnis. You've been watching the Road Magic Music Podcast. I am part of a duo with my wife, Andrea. We are called Zonnis, which is our last name. You can find us at Zonnis Music or Zonnis on all platforms. And I host this podcast every Monday. I'd love it if you went and checked out some of the past episodes. And they're all on our YouTube channel. And I will have more episodes every Monday. Next week, we have Selena Martin. She is a Canadian living in France now, and she's coming back to do a tour of BC. So going to be interviewing her next week. Other than that, thanks so much, Mike.
Cheers.
It's been such a pleasure to have you here, and can't wait to hear this next tune.
Oh, there we go. Sorry for the pop.
It's all good.
Let me see here. Give me 1 second here.
Dead air, woohoo! Okay, I'm going to say something. Okay, all yours.
All right, now, well, I'm going to turn my guitar down for a second and tell you a little story about this song as I'm tuning.
Sure.
So I mentioned that this place, Twillingate, is, it's super out of the way, It's a tough place to get through a winter. And my first winter, things had changed so drastically, and I didn't have a whole lot of friends here. A couple of friends, but, we didn't see each other very often.
Quick interruption. Did you grow up there?
No, I didn't grow up here. No.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Mount Pearl, which is like right next door to St. John's.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so I found it tough here. My friend circle, most of them, the closest were in St. John's, and a lot of my friends are across Canada too. So it's, it became pretty challenging. And I was sitting down for breakfast one day, and there was this old crow sitting in a willow tree in my yard. And I started feeding him, and then he'd wait for me. He knew all my meal times and everything, and we became buds, And a couple of young crows came and sat in the tree with him one day. Kind of got onto his scam, knowing that there was food, And he wasn't having any part of it, and he flew away. And I thought I'd never see him again, and I was jealous. I was jealous that he could just jump and go wherever the hell he wanted, And I'm like, God, man, I wish I could do that. And I said, I'm gonna miss Chester. That's what I called him, Chester, Mr. Dress Up. Anyways, well, the two crows couldn't hack the cold and the wind. They sat in the willow tree for about a minute, and then they flew off. And lo and behold, old Chester came back and landed back into the old willow tree. And I was never so happy to see a crow in my entire life.
Aww.
Now, there's a twist to this story. So my mom stays with me, helps with some childcare for me when I'm gigging. And she called me and she said, Mike, she said, the power's out. She said, I don't know what's going on. She said, the neighbors say that their power's fine. I said, oh, strange. So I came home and Newfoundland Power was in the yard. And I said, what's going on? He was getting ready to climb up his ladder. And he said, I don't know. He said, some dumb old bird flew into the transformer. And lo and behold, it was old Chester. Right? Talk about a kick in the pants.
Oh.
So I wrote a song called The Wise Old Crow.
Oh.
For my bud, for Chester. Now I have a new Chester,
Oh, that's great.
Chester 2. This is a tune that I'm going to put on the new album called The Wise Old Crow. There's a wise old crow in a willow tree, wondering in the world what he ever gonna be. When his friends all come and they hang around, wonder when that old crow leave this town. This tiny island in the middle of the sea, tiny island is too small for you and me. Whoa, things you'll see if you ever leave. That wise old crow, he leapt and flew. I'm wondering in the world what he ever gonna do. He hit them skies wing on the wing. Will he leave this town, leave everything? This tiny island in the middle of the sea, tiny island is too small for you and me. Whoa, the things you'll see. Whoa, the heights you'll reach. Whoa, spread your wings, roll the sea. Roll the sea, roll the sea, roll the sea. Yeah, that wise old crow, he leapt and flew, still wondering in the world what he ever gonna do. He hit them skies wing on the wing. He never left this town, never left a thing. Whoa, the things you'll see. Whoa, the heights you'll reach. Oh, spray your wings, roll the sea, on the sea, for all the sea, on the sea. There you go for Chester.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Wow, man, that was so good.
Thanks, dude.
Well, I'm super glad you were my guest. Thanks for staying up late tonight.
Yeah,
You know,
thanks for
it's,
asking me to be a part of it.
Got to be like 4 a.m. there in Newfoundland or something.
Not far off. It's 12:34.
Yeah, right on. So
Yeah.
thanks so much.
Yeah, cool.
Once
man.
again,
Thanks.
everybody, Mike Sixonate, awesome musician. Trevor here, he's in the chat too. If he's still listening, I know he does some booking for a few venues down in the Southern Island. So
Booking me.
exactly. Hey,
I'll come and play. I'm easy to get along with, man. I'm just looking, you know what? I'm just looking to meet new friends mainly. I love it. I love the, other road warriors and venue operators and stuff. It's my kin.
Yep.
So, yeah. So thanks, Adam, man. I can't wait to chat with you off the record again. And, we touch base every so often. So I hope it's not too long before we do that again.
I'm going to try and make it out to Newfoundland one of these days.
Come on, buddy. I'll help you get on a little tour.
Trevor here says, sure am. So I'll get you guys in touch on Facebook, okay?
Cool. Love it.
Okay.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Peace and love, everyone. Bye.